Welcome back to part 7 of my 10-part Borderlands 3 predictions. In this part we'll be talking about the story of Borderlands 3. As always, be sure to leave a comment, tell me how to get better. Subscribe if you want, like, all that jazz, you know the drill with most YouTubers. Also check out my other channel, YC Games. Just me and my friends having fun playing video games, think you enjoy it. Anyway, let's get right into it. Now, in the leak we got last week, it was hinted at that the first big chunk of the game would be fairly linear, and I'm guessing it sounds like that's pretty much how the games have been up to this point, or how they're describing it as linear, where there's just one set of there's one main mission at a time, beat that one on the next one, then the next main mission, the next main mission, the next main mission, with side missions on the side. While it's not technically linear per se, that's the setup that's been going on so far. And then you basically go on this way, the same way we have been, until you get the ship, and then you explore the other planets and all that jazz. I covered that on the last video. I believe that this big first chunk is where we're going to get a setup into this new world of Promethea, and that the whole time it's linear is the whole time we spend on Promethea, because it's been all but confirmed most of the game is going to take place on Promethea. At least a big chunk. So I'm guessing it's going to be this first big chunk. We're going to start in Promethea, learn what's going on in Promethea, learn what's going on in the rest of the universe, and it's just going to be basically a big setup to the huge thing of exploring other worlds and all that jazz. Now obviously we don't really know what exactly we'll be learning about in this time. As I discussed in my part 2 video when I talked about the villain, it'll most likely be just some big, ominous, universe-ending threat based on what happened at the end of Borderlands 2 and the end of pre-sequel. I'm not going into that because, like I said, I covered it, not detailed, but I did cover it in part 2, so go back and check that out if you haven't seen it. And this is most likely the way they'll go. Like I said, just how they've been hinting at it, this whole, we're going to go to other planets. So obviously there's more planets we have to protect from something, so it must be something big enough to threaten multiple planets. And that really does mean a lot, and it's really exciting to see where we'll go with this. And it just makes me really excited for the game. That's why I don't really like making these videos so much, because it just gets me overhyped for something that hasn't even been announced yet. As I talked about in part 1, when I talked about the characters, I believe that we will be getting 4 completely new Vault Hunters that we know nothing about right now, and that's 100% what I want, what I'm excited for. I also believe that these 4 new characters will be from and based in Promethea, and that's also why I believe we will start the game in Promethea, as we learn the characters' backstories, the planet's backstory, at least what we don't know already about it. And as we're learning through that, we'll just be talking about these Vault Hunters, and then we'll get news from that one Seraph Guardian that came at the end of the pre-sequel, that's been recruiting Vault Hunters. And that's where we're going to merge in with the new Vault Hunters. And it will be a glorious moment, and that's when we get the ship and travel the universe. And I know it might sound like a long shot, obviously this is based in no fact, just my own little fantasy. But it is entirely possible when you think about it. I mean, that will be a huge reveal, a huge geek moment for any Borderlands fan. Kind of like when they introduced in Borderlands 2 all the Borderlands 1 characters. It was just those moments like, it's Brick, even though he's a Slab King. Oh man, those were the coolest moments of Borderlands 2. And if they group all that into one meeting, it'll break most players' minds. It'll probably break mine. I'll be stunned. I'll have to pause the game and just sit there and stare in awe at the screen for like an hour. That might be a little bit dramatic, but still. It'll be this glorious moment, and I don't really want to hype something that probably won't even happen. But like I said, these videos just get me geeking out over the potential for this game that hasn't even been announced yet, and it's driving me crazy that it hasn't been announced. Ugh. Moving past my little moment, that probably won't even happen, but it would be awesome if it did. They will almost definitely guaranteed include the Vault Hunters from the past games, because they did it in 2, they kinda did in the pre-sequel, I guess. It's honestly just be stupid if they didn't. So it would be cool, you know, just fighting side by side the past Vault Hunters like we did in 2, but this time actually including the characters of 2, which I was kind of disappointed that they were barely even mentioned in pre-sequel, but that's my own little beef. I'll probably cover that in a later video, everything the pre-sequel did wrong. But I very much predict that the past Vault Hunters will be included and will be fighting side by side them in much the same way we did in Borderlands 2 with the Borderlands 1 characters. Like I said, it'd just be stupid if they didn't include them. So it's almost guaranteed they will. And I do still believe that we will be taking it, you know, place on Promethea, not even really hearing about the other Vault Hunters, and we'll probably get word from them or from the Guardian, or from the Seraph, sorry, excuse me. And it will be a really cool moment, probably not as awesome or as geeky as I hope it would be, but who knows? We don't know anything about this game. Now obviously this is really a stretch to predict about it all because we don't even know if planet hopping will be a thing. Like I said, this is all speculation and theory, but based on leaks and stuff, we most likely will be planet hopping at some point in the game. And I think this point is when it really gets, not necessarily more story driven, but more, okay, let's get this done, let's go. And while we'll be open-ended, it sounds like almost, where we can kind of do whatever we want, we will most likely have some goal of stopping whatever this huge threat is. And that is really exciting, especially if they do leave it open-ended like I hope they do, where we can go to this planet because maybe there's a vault on this planet that might contain this weapon that'd be good against it, or let's go over here, I hear this factory on this planet is working on some experimental stuff that can fight this thing. It's just really cool to speculate about. I'll probably just speculate about this part in a later video. It'll probably be separate from the part 10 videos. So obviously there's not much to say because we don't even know if this is a real thing, if we will planet hop. And it has been theorized for a while, but so is everything about anything ever. So who knows, we'll just have to wait and see. The one big thing that I've been excited for since the ending of Borderlands 2, where vaults have been revealed on other planets, and what I really hope this game turns into, is that we're just going from planet to planet, looting vault after vault after vault after vault after vault, fighting monster after monster after monster. Not necessarily in like a boss raid thing, but like we go to this planet, you know, we have this string of quests, side stuff obviously, and then we fight a vault monster, get its weapon cache, or get the one weapon it has to fight whatever big ominous threat there is. That just sounded awesome after Borderlands 2, that sounds awesome now. And I am really excited to do it, if we do that. God, this is frustrating, because nothing is guaranteed. Everything is speculation and theory. Now I'm ending this video here because I could just go on and on and on about all my speculations, theories, and I realize this is a prediction video, so I should go over that kind of stuff, but I'm not because it will be an hour and a half long of just me rambling out one thing, then doing something completely different, because obviously they can do anything with this game, and we know nothing about it. And I'm okay with that for now, but I'm getting really on edge, Gearbox. Start releasing some shit. But hey, if it turns out to be half as good as I hope it is, then the wait will be worth it. Because I understand what they're doing. What Gearbox is doing right now is that they're trying to contain the hype, because they realize as soon as they release anything, people will start freaking out about it. Like when they tweeted those Easter eggs. That caused a lot of hype. If you go on YouTube right now and just type Borderlands 3, video after video after video after video after video, speculation, you know, shit like this. Shit like this video right here. And that's what they not necessarily want to avoid, but they want to not help. They don't want to feed fire to the flames quite yet. Because A, it might be overhyped and turn out terrible, which I doubt it, but it's entirely possible. Look at No Man's Sky. I know that's kind of an old thing to reference at this point, but still. kind of fresh for some people, or it will just it will burn out too quickly. Like, people will be too excited for it now, and then it comes out in a year and people are like, oh yeah, that's a thing. And it sounds crazy, but that actually has happened to games in the past. So it's a complete marketing thing what they're doing right now, not releasing a lot, and I completely respect that. But I really want content soon, Gearbox. That would just be swell. Anyway, I'm going to end it here because I can keep rambling forever. I'll probably make another prediction video, not necessarily in this 10-part series, but just talking about what can happen after the, we get the ship introduced, because obviously so much different things can happen. I have so many theories. That's just one theory that I think will happen, is what I discussed in this one. It'll most likely be what happens, but obviously, like I said, anything can happen. So I'm going to stop it here. Be sure to, leave a like. Definitely leave a comment. Tell me how I can get better. I'll take any kind of feedback I can get. Check out my other channel, YC Games. And yeah, see you in part 8 when we talk about enemies.